in the South, sort of typical, I suppose, of, you know, post-colonial societies where the British would come conquer a society, and then part of it would get its freedom, the South. And then they sit on their hands as the horrors unfold in the place that's still not free. And then there's a feeling of embarrassment almost, like, and, you know, you saw this whole orthodoxy started in the South, that really it was the nationalists in the North who were to blame. It was the Catholics and the nationalists, you know, who were to blame for what happened. You know, if they had just behaved themselves and not worried about civil rights and not taken to the gun, you know, that everything would have been fine. And, you know, completely ignoring the realities of soldiers just coming in and machine gunning people to death and then walking away. I mean, Robert McCluskey was beaten to death in the door of Hassan's draper shop in Dungiven. Lost Lives has it as the first death of the Troubles. Robert John was about 67, he was a farmer, he was a bachelor, he was coming in to do his groceries, and he would get a glass of stout in McGrannell's and he'd get his hair cut in Sean Doran's. And he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he was beaten to death by the police in the doorway of Hassan's. Nobody was ever charged, nobody was ever questioned about it. He was buried, that was the end of it. Bloody Sunday, you know, it took 30 years when most of the boys were dead and nobody was prosecuted, you know, for them to say, oh, well, look, we're terribly sorry about that. You know, shouldn't have shot all those people. The Ballymurphy massacre, you know, it's all over the place. I mean, a good friend of mine, John Finucane, his dad was just assassinated. His dad was a solicitor, you know, he was machine gunned to death. And there's not a day goes by that John doesn't, you know, isn't obsessed as a 40-year-old man. It happened when he was 6 or 7, obsessed with a tribunal, a public inquiry into this. And so there was a huge amount of suffering in the North, and it just wasn't the lived experience of people in the South. People get on with their own lives. They've a lot to be worried about. You know, is she going to leave me? You know, can I get that job? Christ, am I going to lose my job? You know, you've got your senior championship team playing. You know, you have to go to the matches. You know, you had a different life from us, and I understand that entirely. Yeah. But it is important to have a true perspective on it, and I think it would do no harm if the schools in the South were taught properly about what happened in the North. From both sides. From both sides.